I'm not here to answer to you. Okay, can I speak for 2 seconds? I can point you to the website after. I'm happy to show you that. The point is this. Oh my lord. Okay.
Well, that debate escalated quickly. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, your home for independent and nonpartisan commentary and analysis on politics, media, internet culture, and more. And we're going to check in with CNN Newsnight, the big debate show, panel-style show hosted by Abby Phillip, which, listen, I'm a fan of. I like when people get together and hash things out, especially in person when possible. I've been on the show a couple times, and while it can get chaotic, I appreciate the mission and the debate. And a really interesting debate happened last night between the New York Post columnist Lydia Moynihan and the former Democratic candidate Isaiah Martin over Zohran Mamdani and some of his past radicalism and statements, and whether or not he had in fact ever supported abolishing prisons. Yes, that's where, by the way, guys, that's where we're at in American politics now, where, like, that's a real take that a huge swath of the public, or at least of the political class that's rising, actually agrees with. Remember, guys, it's in the DSA's new platform, doubling down on abolishing prisons. That's the Democratic Socialists of America, the far-left organization whose candidates keep winning and who Zohran is aligned with. But there was some dispute over this question about his exact position. Anyway, here's the headline. I don't answer to you. CNN debate erupts after guest claims Mamdani wants to get rid of prisons. So let's watch this clip, and then I'll give you my thoughts and some research that I did. Very hard to find the true answer here. It took me so many hours that it was actually incredibly easy. Anyway, let's watch, because this clip is getting a lot of circulation online.
I think that's maybe why they're so reluctant to disavow some of these really extreme radical policies, like getting rid of prisons and opening the borders again, as we saw under Biden.
I mean,
this is the thing. So look, Zohran Mamdani, you mentioned Zohran Mamdani earlier, and you said, great. Can I talk for a second? So Zohran Mamdani, who you want to be part of this Democratic Party, who Chuck Schumer, Barack Obama, everyone has seemed to embrace. Yeah, he watched the World Cup at Rikers. He wants to get rid of prisons. He wants to abolish private property. This is literally the most radical. He wants government-run groceries.
You just lied.
I did not lie. Can I speak for 2 seconds? I'm not here to answer to you. Okay, Can I speak for 2 seconds?
When did he ever say he wanted to get rid of prisons? You made a direct claim.
That's part of his platform.
When did he ever say that?
That's literally part of his platform.
When did he say that?
He's part of the DSA. I can point you to the website after. I'm happy to show you that. The point is this. Oh my lord. Okay. I'm happy to point you to the website.
It's just a simple question. Has he actually said that?
That's literally part of his platform.
Where?
On his website.
Was that on his
He wants government-run grocery stores. This is literally.
When did he say about getting rid of prisons?
My point is that you have a candidate like Zohran Mamdani, who is incredibly radical, the Democratic Party is thrilled to embrace, because the alternative is.
Well, okay, let's.
Oh my lord! Can you stop interrupting me for like 3 seconds?
He really thought he did his big one. He really thought he caught her in like the biggest lie of all time or something. And so I wanted to look into this. Now, what she's saying is true, that the Democratic Socialists of America, the organization that he is aligned with, a member of, and supports, their official policy is abolish prisons, abolish police, end this whole system, and I don't know, just let the rapists run free or whatever. Actually, what they believe, to be fair to them, is that in their kumbaya utopia, where they've cured all poverty and all problems, there won't be any bad people, or the ones they do can just be, dealt with like in healing justice, cosmic circles or something with drums in the park. I'm obviously joking, but like, not really that much. Anyway, so that's the group he's aligned with and their position. But he himself, obviously, I think the potential disconnect here is that he has walked this back, and he, as mayor, it's not actively his position to abolish prisons. That is true. But many times throughout his career, his, decade plus in politics before becoming mayor, he outspokenly was in support of abolishing prisons. That's not a lie. That's not fake news. That's not fiction. And it, honestly, to me at least, this is just my own speculation, reflects his actual sentiment, the things he was saying and believing for years and years as a fully grown adult. Then, suddenly he walked away from it a little bit once he had political ambitions of becoming mayor, and that was not pragmatic. So it's not crazy to say that he's supported that over and over again. It's true. Now, you could point out that, hey, he's walked that back. That's not his current position. But he's acting like she invented this out of whole cloth, or it's some insane lie, and it is not, in fact. So I'm going to go through some receipts I pulled on this. Here is Politico. In 2020, he, Zohran, was questioning the purpose of prisons. On his first Assembly campaign website, Mamdani agreed to the No New Jails electoral pledge, which declared that, quote, jails do not create safety. They only damage souls, and included a commitment to never support, quote, the construction of a single jail. The incarceration abolitionists of the No New Jails New York City campaign, with whom Mamdani had aligned at the time, believed the notoriously violent and mismanaged Rikers Island had to close, but they wanted to vastly reduce the number of jail beds in the city by relying on a few existing facilities off Rikers, with the goal of eventually closing those too and abolishing jails in the city altogether. So this is not it. There's much more to come, but let's be clear about this. Mamdani aligned with an activist group that called jails themselves an illegitimate concept and wanted to abolish them all. So then don't gaslight us and act like we're crazy for suggesting he ever supported abolishing jail. We're not. We were there. We have a memory that goes back more than 5 seconds. They do this a lot sometimes, progressives or Democrats, where you point out their own side's extremism and they gaslight you into it not being real. No one supported Black Lives Matter riots. A lot of people did, actually. Like this kind of thing, right? Or, Zohran, when did he ever say that? And if you don't have the exact time and date of the quote memorized, then apparently you're lying. You're a liar. Well, or she just didn't have the exact quote handy, but it's there. Anyway, more public statements from him. Past tweets. Zohran Mamdani's official account. Quote, the entire carceral system is an unreformable public health hazard. Defund and dismantle. So I'm sorry, but when you say that you believe the entire carceral system with which we incarcerate people, that's what that word means, meaning all our prisons and jails, is unreformable, and you want to defund and dismantle it. When you say that, you are saying you want to abolish prisons. Objectively, that's what you're saying. So he's on the record supporting this just a few years ago. So when did he ever say that? When did he ever say that? Show me the quote. Show me the quote. There you go, buddy. There you go. Oh, but it was maybe just one time. Maybe you just misspoke. No. Anyway, he wrote in another tweet that mass incarceration is the latest mechanism of control over Black people in this country. Abolition is still our goal, which again, he's referred to prison abolition, guys. This is not a mystery. And I am fine with the idea that he, maybe grew up and matured a little and has walked back that position and no longer supports prison abolition. That's fine. I mean, I don't really believe that, to be honest. I think in his heart of hearts, he still believes it, but he's just knows that it's not pragmatic and it would hurt him politically. So he's kind of holding off on that now and might return to it in the future if the winds shift politically a little bit and he thinks he can get away with it. That's my hunch. I'm obviously just speculating. I can't get into the mind of Zohran Mamdani, but don't gaslight us and tell us he never supported the thing that he over and over and over and over again supported on record in public statements that haven't even been deleted. Again, he didn't even delete these tweets, which I don't think he should, but it's like it has, and I think he's probably made some statements like, no, I'm not trying to actively close all the jails now. But has he ever really repented and said, no, I'm sorry, that was wrong, that was an insane thing to ever believe or support? I don't think so. At least if he has, I'm not aware of any such statement. But I won't claim conclusively that it doesn't exist, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But anyway, I want to also show you another clip where he was once asked about this very issue just a few years ago on a Far Left podcast. And here is what Zohran had to say at the time. Listen to this.
Are prisons obsolete?
Whew. Coming through with the quotes, coming through with the titles of the books. I have to read that, actually. I haven't read that as yet. But I think that, frankly, I mean, what purpose do they serve? Right? I think we have to ask ourselves that, which is that, I think a lot of people who defend the carceral state, they defend the idea of it and the way it makes them feel.
I mean, yes, I do defend the idea of it. And I absolutely makes me feel better to have rapists and murderers and pedophiles in prison. And hopefully not to come out for a very long time or at all, depending on the specifics of that. And it's crazy to me. This is just from a couple of years ago. Guys, this is not from 20 years ago. This is from like 4 or 5 years ago. This guy's the mayor of New York City, which is insane that anybody so unhinged politically and philosophically would rise to such a position of power and prominence. But then to add insult to injury, then you have Democratic strategists on the biggest TV shows on cable news gaslighting you and telling you that you're lying if you suggest he ever supported any of the things we all remember him supporting. It's absolutely insane. I felt bad for Lydia, though, so I wanted to clear this up because she just got called a liar over and over again. And while she should have probably been clear that he has shifted his views on this, he absolutely has supported abolishing prisons. That's a fact. It's indisputable. It's not even just one statement. There's like 4 different things you can point to. I just went through all of them, but they all called her a liar and just attacked her and piled on. And a big Twitter mob joined in on how she was pushing misinformation or whatever. And it's so ironic because they are literally the ones pushing misinformation. But I thought it was an interesting moment. It went quite viral on social media. And listen, I think it's an important point because they will do this sometimes in debates where, and obviously the right does this with all sorts of issues. They try to retcon things or like rewrite history and then just repeat it over and over again. And then they tell you that you're lying if you recall what actually happened. I mean, you'll have this with people who'll be like, oh, well, January 6th was a peaceful protest. It's like, no, actually, we saw the violent footage of dozens of cops getting brutally assaulted by protesters. It was not peaceful. There were some people that just peacefully protested, but there was a lot of violence and very serious crime done as well. And so it's like the same way. You're not going to I at least am not going to fall for just rewriting, retconning history before our eyes and then trying to gaslight us and call us liars if we recall it accurately. So especially with these far left people, we need to remember the things they said and did and hold them accountable for it, because otherwise they'll just get away with some of the most diabolical, absurd, and ridiculous stuff that I've ever seen in our politics, which I will not stand for, and I'll keep calling it out. So you guys have to let me know what you think in the comments below of this debate in that clip, because, you know, it was an interesting one, I'll say that. And that show, like I said, I do appreciate the mission, and I do appreciate that it generates conversations and moments that spark dialogue and debate. Anyway, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't yet. Do hit the like button while you're at it, and consider becoming a channel member to support my work. I'm not on Team Red or Team Blue. I just try to be honest and call balls and strikes like I see them. And so I do need support from viewers like you. Hit the join button or click the link in the pinned comment to sign up now. And with that, guys, we'll leave it there for this one and be back with more real soon.